What's up, everybody? What's happening? This is the motherfucking show. Okay, let me actually cut that because YouTube won't let me say fuck like that. What's up, everybody? This is Long Story Short Show, and what we got for you today is another discussion.
Fucking list of discussions. No, I'm just playing. Redo
We got
it.
top 10. It's okay, we're not getting monetized yet. Anyway, we got top 10 Avengers villains of all time. We got this list from Newsarama. Who actually made this list? Let's give them some props. All right. Who's your favorite Avengers villain of all time? It is George Martin, the Newsarama contributor. Really quick, who's your guys' favorite Marvel villain of all time? Not even Avengers. Marvel. Mine's the Shocker.
The what? The
Oh,
Shocker?
damn.
Yep, Shocker.
I was gonna say Doom, but he's more of a hero to me. Osborn.
Okay.
Let's go, Green Goblin.
Nice.
MODOK.
Nice. We got quite a team. Osborn, MODOK, and Shocker. We can get something done. All right, so we're talking about the top 10 Avengers villains of all time. The first one on the list is Taskmaster. So, though he's rarely caused much trouble on his own, as most of the other heroes on this list, the reason why Taskmaster is on this list is because he has a day camp where he personally trains other henchmen in the combat arts. So what he can do is, if he sees a fighting style, he can perfectly copy it. One time he has to see it, forever he can copy it. So he teaches other people how to fight. Sounds like a threat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, so he has like a whole school of people that he teaches?
He's got like a
Yeah, it's
whole
a side
military. Yeah. He's got like a whole military camp of henchmen people.
I really don't understand why he doesn't do more with his life.
Hey,
You know
look,
what?
you remember that? You remember
He's
that?
cashing in checks, and if he gets bored, he does like other things for money, like captures other people.
Yeah, he kind of does the same thing that Jigsaw did in Punisher.
That's exactly what Taskmaster is. He's like super Jigsaw from Punisher, the show.
Yeah.
Except he like learns everybody's moves and shit.
Yeah, and he wears a skull so he doesn't get his face fucked up if it hits anything.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Taskmaster. All right, when's the last time you guys saw Taskmaster or something? Or what's your favorite? iteration of
Spider-Man,
Taskmaster?
Marvel Spider-Man.
Oh, the PS4 game.
Yeah.
The PS4 game.
Nice.
He's giving me some trouble, man.
Yeah.
I haven't even finished all his challenges yet. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just so damn hard.
He's my favorite in Nick Spencer's Ant-Man.
Ooh.
Hilarious. And he's in Nick Spencer's Spider-Man right now. Not as funny as Ant-Man was, but we still got time. All right, number two. Korvac.
Who's Korvac?
Michael Korvac may have been the most powerful villain that the Avengers have ever faced. Though he began life as a lowly computer programmer, the alien conquerors known as the Badoon transformed him into a cyborg, inadvertently setting him on the path to ultimate power. Basically, he's a cyborg. He was a person that the Badoon took and turned into a cyborg, and then he got cosmic power. So think of like
that name sounds really familiar, but I can't place it.
He looks like Hyperion with no cape, and he's like glowing with yellow energy. Originally intending to remake Earth as a utopia, Korvac's inevitable conflict with the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy set him on a path of devastation that left both the Avengers and Guardians dead in its wake. In an attempt to stop Korvac's rampage, a cosmic entity known as the Collector sent his daughter, Karina, to stop Korvac. Karina and Korvac fell in love, though, and hid on Earth, posing as normal Americans. After the Guardians...
He said, oh, that's what it is.
That was the one with the animated show where he came down with the Guardians of the Galaxy. He was in love with that shit and everything. That's who it is. It's like, I know that name from somewhere. Okay, cool. All right.
I forgot they did the animation. I thought they just did, what's his name? Adam Warlock.
Nah, because he was dating the waitress or the diner chick.
Well, there you go.
That was his chick.
I guess that,
okay.
Because I never read the Korvac saga, or I don't read a lot of Marvel cosmic stuff, so I don't really know too much about it. But bam, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Avengers.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, cool.
Okay, all right. Number 3, Scarlet Witch. So we're going to call it Scarlet Witch, obviously because she's unstable. There's a time where she erased all the mutants, except like 1%. Yeah, except 1% of the mutants. There was times where she was in the Brotherhood of Evil. She has been an Avenger more times than she has not been an Avenger. But you know what? She's got powers that can remake everything, and she's got problems in the head.
Yeah.
We'll call it. So,
Psychosis.
I can see that. What's your favorite thing as related to Scarlet Witch?
I don't have a favorite thing about. I don't really like Scarlet Witch. I'm gonna be honest. I can see how she could be very powerful. I think either she hasn't even been written very well, or I just haven't seen enough of her. Because every time I hear about her, she's in this like love thing with Vision, which is not even a real man, but whatever. that's
Look,
that's
I'm just happy with
point.
how much mileage they got out of her. That's about it.
I like them together.
The reason why she goes crazy is because she loves Vision, and Vision can't give her kids. That's why she creates kids out of nothing.
Well, they would have been okay, but then he died. And then she had to remember him. And then she made the kids, and then somebody.
Well, she had her friends.
Yeah, and then they had to be like, "Hey, those aren't your kids." She's like, my favorite thing.
But
about
I made
Scarlet
them.
Witch is always,
But you didn't make them naturally.
My favorite thing about Scarlet Witch is always how she's drawn. She always has cool ass clothes. She always looks super powerful with her stuff. I've seen a bunch of covers with her on it. The picture that I'm gonna use is from Avengers: No Surrender. I'm like, wow, she looks so fucking badass. But she never does anything anymore. like her clothes make her look so much more badass than she ever even does. But it's like they can't do anything with her because it's like once you start using her, you gotta keep using her, and once you keep using her, she's gonna be a villain again, I guess.
I don't see what the issue is with that. Just make her a villain or anti-hero.
Would you guys rather her be a villain then?
I'd rather be
It's not even like it's not that I want her to be a villain. I'm just not against it or opposed to it.
Yeah. Indifference is the worst of all. All right,
Yeah.
The next one we have on the list is Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
So people know Norman Osborn as the once and future rival of Spider-Man.
Iron Patriot.
But he was also the Iron Patriot when he took over S.H.I.E.L.D. and renamed it Hammer, took an Iron Man armor, and called himself the Iron Patriot. That's where that is originally from. So Iron Man was in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. Norman Osborn took it over after like the Skrulls invaded. They were like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything.
Skrulls are bad.
Yeah, so Skrulls invaded. It was a big old problem. Tony Stark was in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time. The last fight was on TV. They recorded it, and Norman Osborn got the sniper shot on the Skrull Queen. And so everybody was like, yeah, fuck yeah, Norman! And put him in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then he made Hammer in the Dark Avengers, and then that comes the Dark Age in Marvel. But yeah, awesome. He made his own Avengers team.
Great guy.
He made his own Avengers team. He had Bullseye be Hawkeye. He had Scorpion with the symbiote suit be Spider-Man. He made Ares be Thor. Let's see.
Huh.
Yeah.
Ares was like Thor.
Didn't he have his own cabal too?
Ares, though. Yeah, he also had a cabal of evil people. Like, Norman is the shit when he's done right. And the best part about Norman, my favorite part always is going to be like at the end of this like storyline where like his mask gets knocked off and his face is like painted like the Green Goblin, and everybody, and literally it pans to like everybody watching on TV and like people who are fighting, and everybody's just like, knew it, told you, knew he wasn't better. This guy was a fucking freak. So,
what about you, Chris? What's your favorite part about Norman Osborn?
Or your favorite Goblin iteration? I like the Ultimate Goblin. That's all big that throws fireballs.
Yeah, that was a cool one. I think I'm like partial to the old one with the glider. But my favorite one would probably just be the machinations and the schemes.
Nice.
I love that he like goes back and forth with his like personalities, and then of course with the ending of that storyline, it's like it's not two personalities. This is who he is.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, like,
this is who he's always been. Like the mist doesn't create, it reveals.
Fuck. Yeah, I read Dark Avengers, the run where he was in charge, and they made Dark Avengers a book. Like, there would be times where there would be, like, Hammer agents, like, outside of his office, and he's just, like, laughing and talking to himself, and they're like, no, we don't ask him what happened. We don't ask him what happens in his office. Kind of thing like that.
If the door is closed, we don't ask him what is going on.
Nice.
My favorite thing is when white people write for Norman, and they call his hair cornrows.
Wait, when he has waves?
Yeah, they're just waves. It's just wavy hair. They call it cornrows. I remember one time, like, Spider-Man, like, got a cornrows. I was like, they don't know anything.
Those are not cornrows.
All right, number whatever. Thanos. So obviously Thanos is always going to be on the list of greatest Avenger villains because he wiped out half the universe with a single snap, just to prove to death that he could do it. Thanos, the person who is always chasing after the approval of death, has constantly gone throughout the galaxy, shooting up people and killing them with his bare hands in the name of death. So it's not
death. Why won't you love me?
Pretty much. So what's your guys' favorite Thanos?
That one. That was my favorite because it's not half. He kills everybody because he wants to get Death's attention. And he's just this little boy that wants someone's attention. And she's like, goodbye. I'm just going to go mess with Deadpool.
Yeah.
My favorite one is the one where he embarks on his Infinity Stone quest. Like, that's like in the beginning and during the actual quest, that's my favorite because he's like outsmarting, outwitting, outmaneuvering all the ones who actually have the stone in the cosmos. I like that one.
I like Jeff Lemire's book from like, it was like 2012 or something like that, where it talked about Thanos as a kid being born on Titan. How like his mom was sane until she looked into his eyes, and that's what drove her crazy. And then like when he was like a little kid, he was purple, and these people are basically like humans that live on Titan and then evolve there. So they're all like, you know, normal skin colors for humans, and then he's like purple. So he's a freak even on Titan, and people knew about him on Titan. And then that's when Death like started like approaching him. But it was just like a little girl with like, while he was a little boy.
Yeah.
It was like a little girl with like black hair and stuff like that, and would constantly like tell him to kill things. And so that's like, it was like the origins of him killing things and experimenting on things. And that's what I was just like, whoa. I really like Donny Cates' Thanos from last year. So Donny Cates, Cates, Thanos. If you guys are watching, Google that up and buy that book. It's really good. It's what gave us Cosmic Ghost Rider. Okay, so the next one we have on the list are the Kree and Skrulls. So basically the alien bad guys. If you want to know what the Kree look like, they look like Ronin from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. If you want to know what Skrulls look like, they look like green super chin elf people. Who can
look like Thanos chinned green elves.
Thanos chinned green elves who can transform into anything. And so a lot of times they transform into the superheroes and supervillains, and they can take their powers because they're turning into them. They're not turning into what they look like, they're turning into them. And that's what makes them actually so scary. They're actually making a book. It's going to be kind of modeled after like the Tom King book, the Vision book, called Meet the Skrulls. It's going to be some Skrulls that stayed after Secret Invasion that are still living on Earth.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing about Skrulls is Earthlings hate them. They're like kill on sight. Like, so it's like a big thing like that. So it'll be kind of entertaining, kind of a funny world to see inside, like what it means to live in America as a immigrant kind of thing. So that'll be cool. But other than that, do you guys really know too much about any of the aliens?
I just
Skrulls is affiliated with Fantastic Four, and humans deal with Kree.
Yeah.
Kree's created the Inhumans, and the Skrulls, like their Super Skrull, took on the powers of all the Fantastic Four, but because he took on the powers of all the Fantastic Four, he's no longer deemed a Skrull, so he's banished.
Yeah. They're like, you're a freak now.
Yeah, you're a freak. You're not one of us.
What?
Yeah.
So
You ever seen the guy that could use all the Fantastic Four powers?
Yeah.
Yeah, Super Skrull.
Intense.
Yeah.
The heck? I just remember from last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when they did that time jumping story.
Yeah.
And they were like fighting Kree because Kree had like some people like as their slaves. So that was kind of cool until they messed up the whole time jump thing.
For anybody that doesn't know how Inhumans came to be, the Krees and Skrulls have been having a war for millennia, and Earth used to be a strategic point in that war. The Kree decided to take Earthlings and experiment on them, and then hopefully be able to create creatures that could help fight in their war. They eventually left, and then that's it. What grew from them were the Inhumans. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of aliens in Marvel that there's just a lot. Like, I don't think they saw themselves getting so many fans like so far down the line where they're like, okay,
100%. I think they really thought it was just gonna be this small, concise group, kind of like Star Wars. It's just gonna be kind of small. They didn't think that mess was gonna like reach so many other people.
But yeah, that just says more about the world and like how long stuff lasts. So the next one is Baron Zemo in the Masters of Evil. Though the enduringly dastardly collective hasn't always been led by Zemo, the connection between the villainous dynasty and the Masters of Evil is inextricable. Founded by the elder Zemo, a former Nazi scientist Heinrich, as a force to oppose the newly founded Avengers and, by extension, Zemo's old nemesis Captain America, the Masters quickly grew from a handful of second-string henchmen into one of the most feared and formidable groups to ever oppose the mighty Avengers. Okay, I don't know anybody else who was in the Masters of Evil, but I do know that a thing that they did do was they made the group the Thunderbolts. So the Dark Avengers turned from the Thunderbolts. Basically, the Thunderbolts was like Baron Zemo. He went undercover as like a hero, and they were like heroes for hire, but they were really villains. But then they started turning into more heroes, and then, you know, get shit like villains, sinking back into being villains. That's all I know about Baron Zemo and the Masters of Evil. Also, he wears like a purple mask and has a sword. So that's a thing. You ever seen Baron Zemo?
Yeah, he's kind of like a dignitary of his own country, sort of like Doom.
Yeah.
But I want to say he's more affiliated with like Taskmaster or the Red Skull than he is Doom.
Yeah, I would say he's definitely way more affiliated with like Red Skull. He's like one of those people that's like second in command to Red Skull, but always wants to be in command. This is
like Baron.
Here's him from the Civil War movie. He's in Avengers Civil War.
Yeah, I knew it was that dude from Civil War, but other than that, I don't know anything else about him. Yeah. So it was just from the movie.
Yeah, Nazi stuff is really Nazi stuff was probably really hard to like keep generated in like the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. They're like, okay, we can't keep doing Nazis. Fortunately for y'all, today's a different age. The next one we have now is Loki. So we got Loki. Everybody knows who Loki is. The first villain of the Avengers, a longtime villain of his brother Thor. He's a frost giant who isn't really Asgardian. He can turn into anything he really wants. He has been a young man. He's been an old man. He's been a woman. He's Loki. What do you guys think?
I like Loki.
Underused in the movies.
Underused? How would you use him?
More trickery.
Yeah, like he's known as the trickster, but
he's God of Mischief, the trickster god, and there's not many tricks.
Yeah, so your only trick is that like fucking hologram thing?
You only use it on your brother on some sibling fighting rivalry shit. That's all you do.
All your other tricks don't work. How come all your other tricks don't work?
For real, why is that your only trick that works? So stupid.
Like he had a good one going when he was pretending to be Odin for a while. Like that was a good one.
Plays and stuff. He was like, I love this part.
He's like, I love this part.
Like that was a good one. There should have been more of that.
Yeah. They're pushing him a lot in Avengers. They've been pushing him a lot for like the last 3 years. But he's been on like big scale all the way to small scale to like causing mischief at Kamala Khan's dance.
Yeah.
It's like, this dude's everywhere. There is no big or small for the God of Mischief.
Yeah,
there's no stage too big nor too small for the God of Mischief.
Why was he there? I'm trying to remember.
Something with Bruno.
He was there and then he like needed something, and I guess, you know, Bruno's a master scientist, so like he makes stuff. So I think he was trying to steal something from him, and then they were having a dance, and then, you know, of course Kamala was like kind of attracted to Loki because he like disguised himself as a regular human. It was really weird.
You look like high school teenager. You look like a high school teenager. You look like a teenager on a TV show High School. Not a teenager in my high school. You look like you'd be 25.
Yeah, you look like One Tree Hill High School.
Exactly.
90210 High School.
Like he was an extra in Smallville.
That's so fucking funny. You know, half those people in Smallville had to like call that like fucking alimony and shit like that. They had like real problems. Like, take this fucking Letterman off.
Everybody's like 10 years older than they're supposed to be. They have like 17-year-olds playing 7-year-old kids. They gotta shave the peach fuzz.
Hey, Billy. My name's what? Oh.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry.
God, jeez, Billy.
All right, the next one we have is Kang the Conqueror. So Kang the Conqueror, for everybody that doesn't know, is a pharaoh that unlocked the power of time through technology. So he jumps from time to time trying to get the greatest army ever imaginable, and more often than not, he tries to take out the Avengers with that army. He's done 100,000 things, and he'll do 100,000 more because he is the master of time.
Master of time?
He is the master of time.
So every time
in this Infinity War story, he was there because he's the master of time.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, how many times has he gone head to head with Doctor Strange?
That's what
in the Eye of Agamotto.
Again, another person unwilling to make a change.
Okay. Let's see. Kang's finest hour came at the end of Kurt Busiek's legendary Avengers run and the Kang Dynasty story, when he actually succeeded in conquering the Earth. His defeat came at the hands of another villain, the mysterious Master of the World, who in turn was defeated by the Avengers with the aid of Kang's son, a clone bearing the identity Scarlet Centurion. Kang's code of honor dictated that he would face his consequences of his defeat, but when he was rescued by the Scarlet Centurion, Kang turned on his own son, condemning his actions and vowing to find a true heir. In recent times, Kang has appeared as a smaller scale threat, appearing primarily to lure Iron Lad back into his life as Kang. Recently, he played a major role in an ongoing story from Uncanny Avengers, having guided the two Apocalypse twins to their destiny, and then trying to defeat them. Like we said, he's complicated. Yeah, so Kang, he's cool though, because he always like looks different, but he's another person that's like from Egypt. Kang the Conqueror and Apocalypse are both pharaohs from Egypt. But yeah, that's Kang. I remember right after Secret Wars, they used him in like 4 stories. They used him.
There was one with him and Doom following Galactus to siphon off his power.
Yeah. Oh, was that Infamous Iron Man?
I think so. Yeah.
There's that. He was in Uncanny Inhumans, where he stole. Well, he didn't steal, but he won Black Bolt's son in a deal, and Black Bolt's son was back like, "Fuck you, Dad." And yeah. And then he was being used in Avengers, the normal Avengers, and then he was being used in Champions. So they really trying to push Kang. I don't know why. I didn't know if they had any ideas for like the movies or something like that.
Yeah, like I'm wondering if they're gonna do like a Eobard Thawne type of thing, where they say like he's always in time.
Yeah.
So you can't really kill him.
No, that's exactly what they do. Like even when he wins, he's like, "I'll just be back. You can't ever beat me."
Right.
Like I've messed with time so much that I am time. So,
right.
Nice. That's Kang the Conqueror. I think we got one more. Ultron. So everybody knows Ultron. Age of Ultron was a very good story. It was a less good movie, but it was a movie nonetheless.
Yeah. I like that.
True.
A less good movie, but a movie nonetheless.
So Ultron was originally created by Hank Pym, and it has all the worst parts of Hank Pym in him, being the aggression, being the overcompensation, being the criticalness,
The perfectionism.
and the perfectionism. That mixed with his natural inclination to want to grow has created Ultron to being one of the worst villains that the Avengers ever known. Personally, my favorite thing that they're doing with Ultron now is that he is actually fused with Hank Pym, and you don't know what part's Hank and what part's Ultron. And personally, I think that's because the worst parts of Hank always was Ultron. And so it's like you're blending the line. But
again, going back to Norman Osborn, like he always was the Goblin.
Yeah.
It's not like this was only one bad side of him that came out occasionally.
yeah.
So it seems like Ultron is just Hank Pym without the humanity.
Yeah,
Ooh.
100%. And then I would say Vision would be the good side of Hank Pym, because Ultron made Vision as like that was his first thing he ever did, and he was like, "Vision, go take out the Avengers." So if Ultron is the worst part to Hank Pym, and then Ultron made the ultimate robot. So the best part to him, I would think Vision is endearly the best part to Hank Pym, his grandpa. I don't even think endearly is a word, but I'm using it there. But yeah, so what's your guys' best idea for Ultron, or your most memorable memory of Ultron?
The one where he was taken over from the future and was using Vision as the crux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Age of Ultron book, written by Brian Michael Bendis. Yep.
Yeah. That one was a good one because it was like
in there.
It's like you can't beat that because he's in time and he's setting up shit that happens like years, like centuries away from now. Yeah. So it's like, what are you really gonna do? So I like that and the odds against winning that battle. So
I wish Ultron would go into space, get a big army, and then come back.
Like, that would be good.
During Secret Empire, when they ran into Hank Pym Ultron, he was like, "Yeah, you guys fired me out into the sun, and you thought I was just sitting out there the whole time? I wasn't fucking sitting out there. I was going from planet to planet to planet, destroying those planets, and then leaving few people alive and saying this was the Avengers doing. If you guys want to do anything to us, come talk to Avengers back on Earth. Here's our zip code."
He should go attack the Sovereign.
What's that?
From Guardians of the Galaxy. The very beginning of number 2, when they're protecting all that shit and those golden people were there. He should go attack that shit and then come back.
Yeah, because they're all just computer people anyway. Hey, that's pretty smart. Oh yeah, they were all playing like those fucking...
Yeah, arcade games and shit.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like Ultron. Oh, Turbo said, or Ultron as Herald of Galactus, or if he teamed up with a High Evolutionary. Yeah, man, that shit would be dope. The High Evolutionary, they just had a big thing about him when the Champions, where they had Vision, when she turned into a human, and then like turned back, and there was like 2 of her for a while.
There was just 2 of her for a second, and then when they went into Wereworld, she was like this, like, spirit, more of a spirit type thing. So it was definitely cool. Definitely weird.
Ultron as the Herald of Galactus, though, that would be fucking... Well, first of all, he wouldn't even do like... Silver Surfer would be pissed. He'd be like, dude, you're not even checking. You're just picking planets.
Go there.
That one, that one, that one, that one, that one.
Jeez.
So I made a list of all the planets that we can hit next.
It says all of them.
It says all.
It's a really short list.
If I use so much paper for this.
Yeah, write big.
What the hell is 2 sides? All right.
It's a scroll and a parchment. Remember,
like in high school or like junior high when you had to make like a poster with your class? That's pretty much what it was.
It's just shitty marker, like the letters all bad.
It's all bubbles, like trying to fill it in.
Jeez.
All right, y'all. Well, that is the list. That's the top 10 Avengers villains. Like we said, these are usually supposed to be posted on YouTube on Wednesday. But we had some issues with the green screen. My bad. That's my bad with the lighting. So we'll try to get all these top 10 discussions posted on Wednesday. If you want to check our schedule, we will have the Comic World for You posted every Friday morning. Top 10 discussions always posted Wednesday morning. And we have Saga Sundays that will be posted on Sunday. And we got something special coming for you next Tuesday. Hopefully I make this deadline, but I'm pretty excited. I don't want to tell you what you guys is yet, but stay tuned. We will be there and we'll be back. We will see y'all on Sunday.
See y'all on Sunday.
Peace.
Later.